Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. So now guys, this is a somewhat light-hearted video by way of being serious, but then of course it is Nigeria, so it is guaranteed to be ludicrous. Guys, I bring you this: female officers of the Nigeria Immigration Service queried for partaking in a Bob Daddy challenge. So this is a challenge by some musician that has put out this thing for people to transform from one shape to another, or from one form of dressing to another. So you see a clip of it in a moment, so you see exactly what I am saying. But again, the headline: female officers of the Nigeria Immigration Service queried for partaking in Bob Daddy challenge. So now let's get into exactly what is going on here. Female officers of the Nigeria Immigration Service (NIS) have been queried for partaking in Bob Daddy challenge. According to the query letter dated April 15 and was shared by Oluwaseun Owoshobi, founder of the Stand to End RAPE initiative, the female officers were accused of indecent flaunting of their bodies and desecration of the NIS uniform in the video. The letter stated that their action is a serious misconduct liable to dismissal from the service. The erring officers have been asked to give reasons why disciplinary actions shouldn't be taken against them. So here is now the letter that was sent by the Immigration Service to the officers. So I shall screen grab this letter and post it and put it as part of the slide in the video. So I'll try and do that, but let's read the content first. So Nigeria Immigration Service Headquarters is how it is titled. It is not titled but headed. That's the letterhead. Office of the Deputy Comptroller General, so high up, Saku Airport, and then it goes on to give the address, etc., etc. So let's get into the body of it. So it's titled Query. Just one simple word: the attention of the Comptroller General has been drawn to a video clip trending in the social media in recent times, which revealed a rather disturbing and embarrassing display of indecent flaunting of your bodies, desecration of the service uniform / beret, and the use of inappropriate language, thereby sabotaging the values upheld by the service. 2. To state the obvious, your act has caused a lot of embarrassment to the NIS, and in line with our standard as a paramilitary organization, is considered scandalous and an act unbecoming of an officer, and therefore a violation of PSR 030401 and 030402. This is a serious misconduct liable to dismissal from the service. Number 3. In view of the foregoing, therefore, you are requested to make a representation, if any, within 72 hours on receipt of this letter, why disciplinary actions should not be taken against you for violation of the following. So it then goes on to quote those numbers. So A is a PSR 030301, and that is immoral behavior. So that's the first accusation. And then B, PSR 030402, and then subsection T, and that is sabotage. So immoral behavior and sabotage. And then there's C as well, actually, PRS, yes, so 402 again, but subsection W, any other act unbecoming of a public officer. So number 4, you are to acknowledge the receipt of this correspondence reference, and it goes on to give the reference in the space provided below. So let's now see, is there anything else? So it is signed Hilaru. So of course Hilaru it will have to be. So already that tells you that it's a northern person, because of course all of the parastatals in Nigeria are headed by northerners, and the erring officers, the miscreant officers, are of course, or the alleged miscreant officers should I say, are southerners. So again, this continuing weighing upon by the northerners on the southerners is really the context of this video and the content of that letter by the immigration, not the immigration. Is it? Yeah. So let me just check the services. Just keep my mind for a moment. Yes, the immigration service to its officers. So, and then it goes on to then give them a column to acknowledge I rank, and then service number, hereby acknowledge the receipt of the letter reference, dated, signed, and dated. So this is really the gist of it. I shall add it, as I said, to the video, a clip of the thing that has led to these officers being queried in this manner. But then, of course, it is laughable. Let's just see what people are making of it. So we just go into the comment section quickly. Actually, let me insert the video here, and then we'll go into the comment section.
Missing someone, love with all your heart. Missing someone, love with heart. How much you miss it, and you miss it.
So there's the video in question, and here is what people are making of it. So here is one of the responses, and this one is under the name or the tag anonymous. Nigerian systems just like punishing people for nothing. I can't see anything wrong in what they have done. Instead, they are promoting the immigration service for having pretty ladies, and they should be proud of them. In other countries, you don't just punish people like that. E.g., what about the Nigerian that came from the UK to partake in Big Brother? She went back to work, I guess, with no punishment, or either resign willingly. So that's the first comment, and the second person chimes in to agree. Exactly, silly people. What did they do wrong? It is not like the uniform was disrespected in any way. They proudly showed off their profession, and I agree, by the way, those ladies, they were proud in their uniform, and then of course they are proud in their out of work outfits as well. So these are people really celebrating their womanhood. These are young pretty girls, and young pretty girls like to look young and pretty. This is something that is global. There's nowhere on this planet that young pretty girls don't like to look young and pretty, and Nigeria should be no exception. But then of course the Jamjawid rules. So we carry on. Nneka is the next person. Nneka non. So everything for Niger, they different. Exactly what I just said. Ed Unique is the next one up. You definitely have no single moral value yourself. So this person is saying that somebody has no moral value themselves. I'm not sure who the criticism is geared towards, but if the criticism is geared towards the people criticizing the immigration service for dragging these ladies through over this matter, then this person is completely misguided, because these are properly dressed people. By the way, when they transform, they don't then transform into some skimpy something. They look elegant both in their uniform and outside of their uniform. So there's no element of morality to this. Are they saying that these people should not wear clothes outside of the immigration service clothing rather, is what I am befuddled by, because what is exactly the query there? So these ladies showed themselves in their uniform, which they wore proudly, and then they showed themselves outside of their uniforms, which they wore proudly. I'm not sure where they were flaunting their body or whatever it is that this Malami guy wrote in the letter. I'm pretty sure that he didn't write the letter, by the way. I'm sure it's some educated Yoruba person in the office that wrote the letter for him. So I'm not quite sure what this Malami guy is getting at with this thing that is saying that they are flaunting their body. They showed themselves in their uniform and they showed themselves out of their uniforms. The uniform was properly worn, and the clothing that they had on outside of uniform were proper, decent, respectable clothes that you would wear to go out, you know, to you wear proudly outside of your home. So let's just curate a few more comments and then end it there. So the next one, another anonymous. This is Sharia in our civil service. So exactly where I was headed in my own sentiments as well with this. This is exactly Sharia in our civil service. So this is Sharia in our civil service. Now, so it take start small by small. So the Shariafication of the Nigerian civil service is what we are seeing now, because this is not the first incident that you are seeing a lady accosted and publicly profiled by the Netherlands for the way that she's dressed. And we're not talking about people of their own faith or of their own culture. So you are trying to now tell Southerners how to dress. I mean, where does it stop now is really where the question is. But we carry on. Let's go to this guy. Munichi is the name of this next one up. The immigration boss is simply looking for who to punch. I don't know who to punch after seeing how beautiful the lady. Okay, I think I know where he's heading now. The immigration boss is simply looking for who to punch after seeing how beautiful the ladies are. Stop the intimidation, please. So that is what he has to say. He's saying that that guy is thinking from waist down, effectively, is what is referencing that query to be a query coming from waist down. So another one, anonymous again. Shut up. What are you saying? Let me divert a little. Have you seen any bank staff doing this with their ID? What is not wrong with what they did? Even if a blanket does it make it right? Must we desecrate everything? Must we, that should say, but where is what he wrote? Must we desecrate everything in this country and shout and time sign before our brains are eaten by Corona V? Please keep quiet. They must be punished for that. The office of the force is what we call public character. I don't know what this person is saying, either by their poor use of language or the poorer cranial function behind it. So now let's round it off with this last comment. Peterson is the name of this person. Funny name, actually. Petersons is how this person has tagged himself. I truly believe now that Nigeria is a zoo. Why concern yourself with such trivial issues whilst ignoring the gigantic corruption in the system? So yes, of course I agree with that as well. But really, like I said, it's a funny video by way of being serious. But then of course in Nigeria, it is completely farcical and ludicrous. So now you are now supervising these people in their private life is what you're saying effectively, because they are showing themselves in their uniform. So yes, there's no rule, unless there's a rule to say that you cannot show yourself in your uniform, and I don't know where that rule is anywhere in the world, because every forces type of person, army, military, police, etc., they all have pictures of themselves in their full regalia of their uniform, proudly standing with their chest out. So this is one of the things that services people do, any form of service. The Navy guy will show you in his show you pictures rather of himself in his Navy uniform. The army, the military, the Air Force, the police, the this, that, and the other, everybody, and they show it proudly on all of their timelines on social media. So these people are doing nothing differently by showing clips of themselves with their uniforms on, and then of course they then transformed into clothing, civilian clothing. So what exactly is the issue there? Where is the problem is really where the question is. But then of course it is Nigeria. Conversations in the comment section. The zoo, as the Igbos like to call it, is what we're discussing now, because this is zoo-like behavior now. Jamja weed. Come share thoughts, but before you do that, click on the red subscribe button so it turns gray. Bell button notifies you every time I drop a new video. Then come tell me how ludicrous and ridiculous you feel this position is by the immigration service in the comment section. So I'll leave you here. Carry this conversation on with you in the comment section, but here I say peace.